That's going to tomorrow here. Thank you guys for coming through. It's a one in the chat. You can be able to hear me. Waiting on the Gone 11 and other people to fall through. Talk about this important topic here. Sundays, the actual media has been very tight-lipped on what is actually in this bill. In this actual bill here. Because we got cuts to Medicaid, we got cuts to SNAP benefits, we got tax increases that are not needed. The extension of tax cuts. I'm telling you, for one, I am against tax cuts. Even though I am in that tax bracket, I don't see these people doing nothing with that money except for bragging about how much self-worth they have and getting new yachts and just not paying taxes overall. They don't care about their employees. They don't even make their actual they don't even make their products in the United States. They do everything they can to skirt every type of reasonable workplace relation argument. That's just where I'm at with it. I mean, I'm in my income scale. I know what these people like. Right now, I'm in Florida, and what these people are doing doesn't really comport with that. Taxes should be 90% if you make over $10 million a year. Period. Period. Because these people don't provide anything, and they actually use the government a hell of a lot more than everyone else. Like, what do you think happens when Lochner is the actual head of the Small Business Administration and they're not giving loans to actual small business? Yeah, people just spin up their actual pet projects and they use the government to fund those actual projects. People who are already wealthy go and take a whole bunch of federal dollars that should be going to small businesses who are starting out and they give it to already rich people. That's what they do every single time a conservative administration comes through. Tax cuts is spending. It always have been spending. It always will be spending. I understand the what's going on to go.
Hey, what's going on, MOT?
What's going
Yeah,
on, man?
Just listening to listen to what you're saying. And this whole budget thing, this is looking crazy. And what's killing me more than anything else, they're cutting all this and they're extending the Trump tax cuts.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
At the same time,
unreal, man. This shit is unreal. Unreal. People in the red states are going off. They're getting all upset, and it's just people just did not believe what everybody was saying about Trump before. They thought this guy was really looking out for them, and that's not the case.
I don't care. It's time for the pain, man. Yeah, that's what it's time for. It's time for the pain. Yeah, that's what it's time for. End of the day, a lot of these people are about to be wheeled off in their nursing home, and they're gonna be wheeled up into the actual lobby and like, yeah, man, it's checkout time. Yeah, it's checkout time. It's time for you to leave. Oh, but they ain't got nowhere to go. Like, yeah, but we're not getting paid. So they're not getting paid. You're not gonna be able to be in the nursing home.
Yeah, the pain's coming down, dude. Pain's coming down.
And look, for the actual relationship people, that doesn't mean these personnel are going to look to you for help. No one's looking for you to help them on any topic, on any issue. You have never been a group of people that anyone has ever looked towards. The cheerleaders of destruction, I call them.
Yeah. A lot of people saying these folks didn't think they were going to get affected. See, their whole thing was hurt blacks, and hurt immigrants, however else you want to say, but primarily hurt us and hurt others, and they're good. That's what they expected. Then you even had these Latinos up in here talking about, oh well, they're going after the criminals, and that's going to be about it. And they're getting him. I mean, all this craziness these people were buying into didn't really understand where these guys are really coming from. They don't understand this budget right here that passed by one vote. Okay, has done a lot of damage, and a lot of people are going to get hurt. A lot of people are going to get hurt. I can't sit here and talk individually for myself. I'm talking about
Me neither.
everyone else. Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of people that are going to get lit up on this, man. A lot of people are going to get lit up. It's not funny. This is not, a joke. This is not something to laugh at. This is something that's going to affect a lot of people, and it's going to go across ethnic lines. Now, we know as long as people feel as though blacks and others are getting hurt more, that this will appeal to them more. That will, but still, a lot of these people are going to feel it. And like you're saying,
Bro, we're gonna see if they can eat this culture war, man. We're
I
gonna
don't think they
see
can
if
do
they
it.
can eat this culture war.
I don't think they can do it.
I don't think the southern portion of the United States can afford any cuts at all to any of these programs at all.
Yeah. This is this is going to be felt across the board. I mean, the culture war is going to be very difficult to eat. You're not going to be able to buy the culture war and put it on your cupboard. You're not going to be able to eat the culture war and have your health care happen when your blood pressure's up, or you need heart surgery or some kind of surgery, whatever it comes down. Or you lose, let's say, people who are in nursing homes and so forth, where a lot of that is covered. And now you got to get out of here. You ain't got the money. The state's not covering you anymore. You got to go.
I mean, we have to go over what Medicaid does.
Oh my
We got to
gosh.
go over that. We got to go over what SNAP benefits and who they actually feed. Like a lot of people hear SNAP benefits and they hear, oh, automatic welfare cuts. I'm like, no, it's actually a subsidy more for farmers than actual the people who get those benefits. And it's kind of always been
Correct.
that way. Why it's
Correct.
always been in the farm bill, which they haven't passed in a very long time because agribusiness shut that process down. So if anybody gets some subsidies, it's gonna be them. And small farms are gonna be like these dudes who pretend like they broke with all these Latinos on their actual farm and claiming that they're, just scraping by with 100-acre farm. Unbelievable. What's going on, Renaissance, man?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's up, RM?
Nah, nothing much, nothing much. Yeah, no, the Amiri pointed out in the chat. I don't know if y'all mentioned it, how physically irresponsible this bill is.
Oh yeah,
Oh
definitely.
yes. Oh
And
yes.
the funny thing is, this is what came after you had, the so-called conservative deficit hawks, whoever. I mean, Thomas Massey said, I'm not voting for it regardless. So he's always been a holdout. But this is what came after Freedom Caucus negotiations. And that's why you saw the bond yields go up. I think mortgage rates are now like 7%, 6%.
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah. So, complete physical irresponsibility. It's going to hit some hurdles in the Senate, though. They said that. They said, Josh Hawley said he was against the Medicaid cuts. Said it was
Of course
immoral.
he
We'll see
is.
if that actually we'll see if that holds up. But a lot of people in the Senate are not on board with this. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of compromises they have to come up with to try to get this through.
I think now the Senate, they've got about. You have to look at what the midterms will potentially be looking at. How many Senate seats? How many Senate seats are we really looking at potentially getting flipped, potentially by the Democrats? if they can pull us
Yeah.
off. How many seats are we really looking at here? So that's something that we have to, they have to take a look at and what they can get,
Yeah.
1 or 2. But if they're looking at losing maybe 3 Senate seats, I don't know if we're fully looking at that. But
you gotta. Well, Georgia, they gotta figure out who's gonna run on the Republican side because Kemp said he's not doing it.
Yeah, against
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
Marty Taylor Greene said she wasn't either,
Yep.
which I thought she would. But someone you're gonna have to keep an eye on in all of this is gonna be Tom Tillis, in North Carolina, because North Carolina's got some really only 2 areas of the state that are prosperous. That's the Triangle and Charlotte. Outside of that,
Yes,
it gets
that's
pretty
all.
rough. It gets
It's
pretty rough.
pretty
I mean,
rural,
I guess
man.
you have,
It
you have
is pretty rural,
Asheville.
bro.
You have Asheville with some tourism. But outside of those 3 places, like, it's pretty rough. So he's gonna be in a tough re-election, especially if what's his name, Roy Cooper, who's the governor, if he runs, which they're anticipating he's gonna run for Senate.
Yeah, so you have to look at how this picture is going to shape up. And it just barely passed in the in the Congress, so it's just showing you where the heat really is here, and how much more this third rail are these guys willing to stand on, which will certainly play into the midterms. I'm just looking at this because you're going to get rid of all this, and then you're going to put more of that into tax cuts. You can't hide
Simultaneously.
you can't hide underneath that now. There's
Like
no way you can't squirrel away from this and hide. You can't hide from that.
And you got the market on. You got the market on you. That's the other thing that they're gonna have to deal with. Like, the U.S. losing another last AAA rating from the rating agency. Like, they didn't have this pressure in the past before of, like, really worrying about what the long-term fiscal consequences are. So that's the other thing you got to watch in all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like they're
especially
concerned.
Trump and his trade war too.
Yeah, simultaneously going on with all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw today. He was saying, "Oh, if Samsung doesn't manufacture in America, 25% tariff. If Apple doesn't manufacture in America, 20." I'm like, we're back at this again.
It's crazy.
I think he thinks that this is his only way of showing that he has demonstrably some type of power, and it's going to end up being taken from him by the Congress. They're going to have to take that power away from him because you cannot have a president unilaterally doing things of this nature. Like, this is the party that talks all about government overreach.
Waking up at 6 a.m, just randomly tweeting out stuff about tariffs.
That's wrong, by the way.
That's wrong.
You can easily look up.
And then affecting markets as a result.
Wow. Markets run off of stability, and if you just open your mouth, I mean, you are an unstable force. That every time you run your mouth, everybody just start running for the hills, start selling off stuff and buying up stuff that they shouldn't, because you can't trust what is going on here. I'm just having a hard time understanding this kind of triple threat of the markets responding the way they're responding, the economy responding to the way it's responding, and then you have these upcoming job losses that's going to be pending second quarter coming next month for this market evaluation after this second quarter's over. So that's a lot of things just coming down the pike, man.
A lot of things are coming down the pike right now. This is this is going to be pretty big, and you can see where these guys are really trying to govern. They are literally taking, and this is the only way you have to really look at this. We can keep saying this like a broken record. They're taking all of this money out of these programs to fund tax cuts.
Yeah.
That's what's going on for the ultra wealthy. So that means people who are middle class, lower, and the more, and the poor and so forth, forget about any kind of retirement. You don't have retirement plan. Retirement's toast. Work till you die. And for those who don't have any kind of coverage or any kind of insurances, you're looking at even more dire circumstances. What are these guys doing? I mean, what are they really doing? Do they think people are not going to fully understand this? I understand the fools that couldn't understand the tariffs. All right, not that I even could understand them, but you could see how some people would get confused, a little bit confused on that. Marginally.
They're
But
not
this right
confused. They
here,
just don't care. They're
this
not
right here,
confused.
this is very serious. This is very serious.
I, I'm just having a hard time trying to process how you're going to cut $800 billion from Medicaid and you keep Medicaid as a current standard of what it operates as Medicaid. I
Do
don't
do you
understand it.
do you know how many hospitals are going to close if you do
Yeah,
this? Especially in
I
these
mean,
states, especially in some of these states where they actually did like roll out Medicaid expansion from Obamacare.
yeah.
Whew. Louisiana.
So this is a way of cutting Obamacare without saying that you're actually doing it. You're just gonna reprioritize that money into other type of cuts for actual multinational corporations and significantly mentally ill wealthy people
Yeah.
who don't need it.
No.
and,
Well,
and,
see,
and
if this bill passes, like especially in the Senate, if it passes, you're going to have people who are. There's going to be at least one or two people. Uh, if it's anything even remotely similar to what they're proposing, that are going to be taking career-ending votes.
Oh yeah,
career-ending votes, and and
it is
and
a
let's
political suicide pact. That's what it is.
and,
It's a political
and look at
suicide
this,
pact,
fellas.
wrapping this thing around your neck and jumping off with the anchor when they throw the anchor off. That's what it is.
Red states are toast.
Oh yeah.
Think about the red. Think about the red state analysis on this.
And all these so-called independents and these black conservatives who live in these liberal areas in these southern states, man, look, you got a world of change coming your way.
Forget
You
about
got
the
a
black
world of
conservatives.
change coming your way.
They're insignificant. They're fools. They're idiots. They're insignificant. They're effed up. They have no power. They have no juice. They move nothing. They're nothing in this. They're nothing. They're just a bunch of shines that are running around that we can look at and laugh at. They're of zero significance. You have to look at where are these other people, the masses who really have supported this. This is just not Obamacare that this is going to have an effect on, because a lot of these states didn't take that option. But look at how Medicare and this stuff comes, Medicaid and all that comes down through these states outside of that they're not going to get, that are going to be gone. Look how many hospitals are going to get knocked out of the box behind this in these areas. You talking about poor healthcare now? What are these guys actually trying to achieve, and how are they? And how are these people in these districts going to be able to sit here when they see hospital closings in their own district? How are they going to explain that? How are the senators and their Congress people going to explain that for them? And what are they going to put in place for them as well? This is
What are
what you
they
have to
going to
look
put
at.
in place? What are they going to put in place?
The average American is not a wealthy person. They're not. Go ahead.
What they're going to put in place, they're just going to take, the transgenders, out of sports. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, bathrooms. Yeah. They're gonna
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
who's hanging out in a woman's bathroom. Yeah. That's what they're gonna talk about. That's gonna be important.
Or how about, another
Like
round
that
of
clown you had
deporting
up the
Mexicans?
other week.
Or else, they could just, another round of deporting people to countries that are not their country of origin, just to be doing something.
Yeah, and trying to strip and literally trying to take your Black history away. I think that's their
simultaneously
key.
while they're doing that.
Well, that's their key, to take your history, slam black folks, and say, "Look at what we're doing to black people, and support us because this is exactly what you voted for." That's what they're preying on. They're praying that they're going to make sure they use that as a way of nailing even harder, and holding their people in, because the more you come across as hurting black folks, the more acceptable I presume that they feel that this will be for them.
No, that's where the perception is kind of bigger than the reality, and the media just sit back, just letting this stuff happen, not trying to educate anybody on nothing that's going on. Remember, every time that there was a debt ceiling that needed to be raised when the Democrats were in charge, how the conservative movement always wanted more tax cuts and cuts to spending and programs and all that kind of stuff. You see how easily they can just raise the debt ceiling when they just want to, when
Yeah,
there's tax cuts involved?
yeah. Because why they do that? Who's funding them? Who's backing them up? So make sure you take care. Make sure you take care of our financial benefactors. Give them tax cuts. That's who they're talking about. That's it. Everybody else, you're 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 in the pit, and a lot of these white folks are seeing themselves. You're in the pit. You're in the pit, man. You're in the pit.
I mean, man, but they're
And
running game on evangelical Christians, just using them as blunt objects against
blunt
anybody
force
in
blunt force optics. Go ahead.
for so long. I mean, the South itself cannot afford any type of cut, and they need all the help that they can get. Clearly,
Well, what I find interesting is, I see some of these people who are on dialysis and all this stuff, living in some of these red states, talking, "Yeah, you never got to vote blue no matter who," and talking all this craziness. What happens when your benefits start getting cut and your natural ass is literally on the line?
yeah,
Literally.
I don't think they really care. I mean, because they want to benefit from blue no matter who.
They want to benefit, but
Yeah,
but they want the luxury of going. Like I said, the other brother who I was talking to the other week, I call him luxury instead of the paradox. He's the luxury. It's luxurious to take the positions you're taking now when all this stuff is coming down and you're getting hit. Where the luxury at? And when they take your state job and these kind of things go down with, can how you gonna eat that? How you gonna eat all that? How you eat that when that gets knocked out the box? And your coverage is just cut, and this type is all going down the way it is. What's up? How are you going to deal with that? See, they can play with this luxury that they have, and when it starts to really hit you, it's we start looking at a whole different complexion on this game. Whole different complexion. This thing looks totally different. And if they
but
pass
it's
this,
luxury ignorance though.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There's luxury ignorance. It's nothing but a troll. Can't really do business with people like that. You can't really organize anything because anything you try to plan, it's going to expose your plan to people. You can't really plan anything long term because they're not serious. They're not serious about anything. And there's too many people that are so not serious and want to turn the actual volume up on entertainment whenever substance get talked about. And then these be the main people who be trying to put the blame off on other different groups of people, whether it's boomers or Generation X or whether it's, old dudes got to go. It's like at this point, the people who are non-participators, who live in these liberal areas, dude, they're worse than boomers at this point.
Boomers. Most of these people are living off of boomers' money. Look, I mean, they're living off it. Boomer. What are they talking about? When I look at my kids and others, they're living off pops. Even my grandson, who I love more than life itself, love my kids too. But it's key that we're here to back all this up. So I'm not listening to any of this craziness. You have to look at what is going on currently at this stage. Where is your participation in this? And what role are you going to play to help to turn a lot of this around if you have any interest in this at all? So because everybody's going to get affected. I mean, folks can come up and label and hit whomever they want. It's all BS at this stage, because now it's either you put up or you shut up, or this is where almost you start coming into this whole lesser Thoreau's zero sum game. You start to play this. So this is where we are at, and this is nothing you can really play with at this stage. You're really gonna have to, if you're non-participating, and you have people out here saying y'all the heroes who stayed out of this election and all this craziness. How you gonna eat off? How you gonna eat off of that now? How you gonna eat off of that if they get this done? How y'all gonna eat off of this? Non-participators as the heroes. How you gonna eat off of this now? This gets passed. How you gonna do that?
I mean, but they just told you that no, we're going to just raise the debt ceiling, insert these tax cuts and all these other cuts all in the same bill. No education from the actual bills of state about nothing. No, nothing.
Renaissance, you got anything to say on this?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
So what do you think the next step is for the administration? And that's before this Gaza thing started to get underway too, of this ethnic cleansing, finishing touches on the ethnic cleansing going on in that area.
Well, you're looking at genocide, and that's being and it's very quiet because you don't really see a lot of this in the media. And I'm even kind of surprised that even the the MSNBCs and so forth are not going deep in on this at the level. But they've got their final solution going down currently. That's how this is moving. I mean, I don't know what else you can really say. And
Yeah.
this is where the administration is. That they're letting this go down. The media is kind of quiet, and it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. You have the students and so forth who are looking at this and have a good idea, but I don't. This administration. Wow, this is rather eye opening.
No, I don't think this. I think this thing is going to continue to be an issue. I think I don't think this whole Gaza situation is going to go away the way people want it to. I think it's going to be a big issue with the Arab world. Trump likes to deal with the Arab world a lot. I mean, you can say what you want, that these people are on one accord, but if you literally move 1 million people out of Gaza and not let them come back, people in those countries aren't going to just sit up there and look at this and be cool with that. So I think it's going to continue to be a point of contention. They were saying negotiations or discussions with Iran was breaking down. So Trump doesn't have a grip. It seems like either on Ukraine, on getting that resolved. So I think he's still got a lot of issues that he's got to go and deal with. That really a lot of campaign promises they said he was going to make, especially in, like I said, in the foreign policy sphere, that he's going to have to deal with, and I don't think it's going to be even close to as easy as he thinks it's going to be.
Well, I mean, just accepting anything and claiming victory and hoping people don't do research has been the actual mantra of the administration as of right now.
Well, he does make a point. He is in the Arab world. This is going to, they're getting, he's flying around in planes and stuff from them. So, how they're going to let this push on? I think this is going to be certainly a bigger issue, certainly in the world. But I find it quite, kind of quiet here right now, and I see that the media has somewhat played into.
Oh yeah.
Not really putting this front burner and on some of these channels. You go to Al Jazeera, you may hit the BBC or some of these other channels, news outlets, you'll see some of that, but CNN and MSNBC and Fox and these others, CBS News as well, which is I thought they had a little bit more integrity. Are not really are not making much of an outcry on this. They're not saying much, not as much as it needs to be said, like second, third page kind of stuff. It's hard for me to explain some of this that the media has been kind of bought off in so many ways with respect to what's going on. I'm at a little bit of a loss to explain some of this as well.
I mean, because they know people are going to be hurt by this. And how could we just have this sort of calm before the storm and nobody really cares? It's kind of weird with all these cuts that are in this. I'm telling you, people are going to wake up and their car's not going to work. They're going to try to go to their local government, and the local government's not going to know what you're talking about. And this is going to be something that's going to be ongoing before they even go further than this, because you know they're going to go further than this.
Yeah. The other thing you got to look at too is is Trump going to defy the court at some point? Because I think like the school ruling about using federal money for charter school, using public money for these religious schools. They basically tied 4-4 and kicked the ruling back down to the lower level. So that was a no. Obviously, I think the birthright citizenship, that's going to land flat as well too. So at some point, are you going to end up with this dude just flat out defying the court?
I mean, that's his only option is to do that.
Obviously,
that's his only option.
It looks like it also looks like they're going to continue to assault on higher education too, because yesterday they said Harvard had to basically they tried to say we're not giving out green cards for international students, which that literally they sued on that. It got an embargo in like 3 hours. So looks like he's going to continue to attack higher ed as well.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to just culture war your way through this stuff. I mean, there's going to be like real life changing, altering things that are going to happen, and people ain't going to have no type of recourse to interface with changing it. They're just going to have to ride it out for the next 3 3/4 years of this. As I said before, if there's any election in American history that needs to be fixed, it is the midterms. It is the voice before you get this dude up out of there. And I don't look. There ain't no way in the world that this dude is about to pull off in a bigger increase in seats given what has happened so far. Given all of these races that has happened since Dems winning in plus 20 districts, plus 30 districts. Do I think these people have all the way changed? No. But the tide is turning on these people, man. They're on the verge of losing these working class whites for a generation, maybe even two. But we're going to see where this culture warrior actually gets them. Maybe they'll dig up in a whole bunch of other Latinos to go lock up or something. Or maybe there's enough bathroom bills that they can keep throwing pixie dust in people's eyes. Maybe.
I don't know, but I'm not counting on the midterms to save us. I'm just not. What I think the midterms can do if things go positively the way we think, which we could easily be wrong about, but it could slow some things down. But really, it could slow some things down. But to really stop these people, you're going to have somewhat of a slightly bigger type of a movement. To be quite frank with you, we're going to need a lot more lot more protesting and so forth. There's a lot of stuff that's got to go on because these guys, I see it now. They have no will to stop. Some people are getting a little nervous. Will the midterms, have a big effect on these guys? I would hope so, but since this guy is going through such executive orders, of which you can reverse, but still, how much of a lame duck is this guy really going to be if he's just going to executive order his way around and then have people kowtowing all over the place? I don't know.
But they throw up so much stuff. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. But if they're going to defy the courts, no matter what happens, I don't see why these people are not being brought in contempt from jump. Like I don't understand why they're waiting to bring them in contempt or wait so that way some arbitrary final straw can be reached so that way
No,
things can actually happen that way. I don't understand what they're actually waiting on. To be quite honest,
we
I have no
we
idea.
we already have seen. We're already in a constitution. People don't want to call out. We're already in one. As soon as you went against rid of habeas corpus, you got a guy that literally got deported, who shouldn't have been, and he's not back yet. He's not back to this very day. You have not
Yeah,
heard any updates. I know the judges are checking on the updates on this guy every day, but you don't hear about it in the press whatsoever. So here's a guy who has been swept out of this country and illegally against the Constitution. Still not. That is a constitutional crisis. That is a crisis right there, and it has not been addressed. So what else are you waiting for? More of this? More of this? Yeah, more of this is going down. So would we wait? Well, we're waiting for a constitutional crisis. We already had one. It's already gone down.
I mean the
It's already
constitutional
going down.
crisis was when they stopped due process and made
And
sure
due
that he didn't go to court for any of the crimes that he was actually charged with.
and due process, without question, is this man has been taken out of this country without due process. Without due process.
Yeah, but what would it hurt for you to just go through the process and get him up out of here if he's guilty? We keep pretending like our justice system just don't know how to do stuff correctly. I
No,
mean,
I
you have
just
your cases of affluenza or whatever, but at the end of the day, we put Charles Manson on trial. He was guilty. We put Timothy McVeigh on trial. He was guilty. We put John Wayne Gacy on trial. He was guilty. We didn't have a like. There's nothing wrong with the criminal justice system. It's more of an application and who steps in to stop the actual due process from going on.
nobody is willing to say, listen, we're going to send some planes down there. We're just going to go pick this man up. That hasn't been done.
I mean, it's real
People,
easy. If they wanted to get him back, that's how easy it is.
people have not defied the president. People don't want to defy him. This guy's walking around here thinking that he's Kim Jong Il. Or whatever. That's what this guy really envisions himself as. Someone of that nature. So no one has really challenged this guy. People are afraid to challenge him. I don't know why people are so afraid to challenge this guy. You challenge him, you try to smack him upside his head the way you need to. I have to come at this guy, and he will fold. But people don't want to do it. They don't. The ones who so called are those who's supposed to be a check and balance against him don't want to do this. And I certainly don't understand why. When I was a kid, you were bully. I walked up to you. I walked up to you and slapped the piss out you, backed you up. I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck. And that's just how you got to handle that. That's how you got to look at that. This is no different. This is what's going on. No one's challenging any of this. No one's challenging any of this.
And also with these extreme weather events, and they're getting no help from the actual federal government too. That's a real problem. Remember how all these people were lying about FEMA response under Biden? Now you have actual non-FEMA response, and you don't see the actual culture warriors and the people who lied about all this stuff even being anywhere near the point of being concerned about how it is when this stuff is actually really happening under Trump. You don't even see any outrage at all.
Well, this budget, I can say this, is going to create a certain level of outrage of people when they start getting thrown out of, like you said, they start getting kicked out of old folks' homes and so forth like that. Man, they don't have funding for that. When these dire situations hit, this bill passes and this stuff really starts to filter down, what are folks going to say then?
Yeah, what's going on, Question Prince?
How y'all doing this evening, gentlemen?
What's up? What's up,
Yeah, we're
President
doing all right.
Prince?
Man, just trying to keep my head above water. Heading to the house here. Get ready to start my weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, I used to care, and now I'm starting. I hate that I even got my mindset wrapped around this, but hey, maybe some people do need to feel the pain. I mean,
And
they've been
man,
getting
look, the
by.
next fight is November 2026. That's a long ass way away.
Yes, yes.
Nevertheless, that's when the next fight is for you to do something about it, or anyone else to do something about it. So people have to keep their eyes on the prize. That's the next time, the next opportunity that you're gonna have to fight, regardless of how you feel. So
But
and I
that's just where we're
But
at
you have a
there.
lot of local races. You have a lot of local races. A
Yep.
lot of local things are going on in your states and in your municipalities that you're going to have to get involved with, because all of this gets all these monies or whatever that get taken or that come in at the end of the day, they get filtered down through the state political apparatus. That's how that works. That's how it filters down. So it's very important to be involved locally as to what's going on. And
yeah, you right. Cause I had to get on some people that keep complaining about why. Look, why? Once again, why do y'all complain? You don't do nothing but complain. Call
Post
what?
hoc
Go to.
rationalization.
Yeah, you just don't want to do it.
well, a
I
lot of
even had to
people
get
want to
on the.
complain and talk smack just to keep people from doing anything.
Yeah. They want to spread a whole bunch of
I,
apathy and throw a bunch of pixie dust so that way no one does participate. You have to understand that there's a whole apparatus for black misinformation, black disinformation, black disinterest in the political process. Somehow it's a point of humiliation for you to actually take a side when all these people live in all these liberal areas, but they don't want to participate in the actual
even
the actual
that's an
conversation.
aspect of
Hold
it.
on a
But I just believe some of these majority are they just sorry. They just do nothing. I even like. I mean, I even had to get on other family member about jury duty. They got called for jury duty. And you dismiss yourself off the jury and say you'll be biased, so you didn't want to be bothered with it. Don't you know we need black people on the jury? But then you get to complaining about when some tragedy happened. Black they and they and the perpetrator of the crime get off. Oh, why did you do that?
Yeah, man, your mic's
Oh, I
breaking up
mean,
real bad over
you
Quiz of
should.
the Prince. Mike V, go ahead, man. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can hear you. Go ahead, man. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming through.
Hey, not much, man. Yeah, I think that a lot of what we're seeing right now hasn't really set in as of yet. I mean, people won't feel it until like, July, August, September. There's that back to school season is when they'll start to feel it. And then enrollment starts in September, October. So for healthcare coverage in a lot of places. And so once they find out that, they won't either have any healthcare coverage, or B, the coverage that they're getting won't be sufficient for what they're looking for, then they'll start to realize, making a compare and contrast between this administration and the previous administration. You didn't have all of this calamity during Biden's 4 years. People knew what they were getting. In fact, they were getting a whole lot more, especially in conservative states. A lot of your infrastructure spending and a lot of your civil engineering projects were happening in a lot of conservative states. That's why they didn't try to impeach him. For the most part, there was no articles of impeachment, not for Biden, not by those folks. A lot of your spending, budget spending, in terms of these semiconductor jobs and technology jobs and stuff like that. A lot of the data centers and whatnot in conservative states like Ohio, Arkansas now, a lot of those Rust Belt and flyover states, they were benefiting greatly from a lot of the legislation and a lot of bills that were being passed in the previous administration. Now you look at, this new one, you have to ask yourself, how did you sign yourself up for this?
I think they're just pretending like they're winning for whatever reason, because this is not going according to anybody's plan or even prediction at this point. So when people predict that, oh well, you know what, I predicted this. How did you predict this? The experts didn't predict it. The people who voted for it had no idea what was going on. They didn't care. They just wanted their guy in charge.
The intellectuals didn't even predict this, and they
No one did, and no one is, and no one knows what's going to happen either. No one knows when the next show is going to drop. No one knows when the next plane is going to be offered. No one knows.
But this reminds me of the research I've been doing. For some odd reason, I always lead me back to Nazi Germany. It's a book, I forgot the author, Lawrence somebody. It's the Nazi mindset. It's just the people just got to the point like we are right now, just did not care. They, whatever idea they had in their head, that's what it was. That was the rule of law in their head. We don't care. Even, and the part I stopped at, I gotta pick it up, is that all people thought they can, same thing here. Mitch McConnell said the same thing. Elect Trump, we'll control him, and that's the same thing they thought in Germany. Yeah, Hitler might be in charge, but we can control him. But he didn't care about them intellectuals, because you only got a handful of people that's actually he controlled about controlling the people, just like the same as Trump. As long as he get it, as long as he got his base behind him.
Yeah, but this is different because he is where he's at because of the judiciary, and then when he disagrees with the judiciary, he just disregards them. Period. Like don't even care.
The big bad Supreme Court, who slapped down everything Obama and Biden and all these other federal judges, especially the one out there in the circuit in Texas, they bought everything through that court just to stop anything that a progressive or a Democrat bought up.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just going to mention that the economies were different, between Hitler's electoral victory versus where Trump is today. Trump inherited a very good economy from Biden, so there was nothing really for him to fix. Instead, he came in there and wrecked something that was actually good. You lost $10 trillion in less than 100 days in the markets economy. He did this. That wasn't Biden that did that. And so for all the vote blue, no matter who, Biden didn't, fumble $10 trillion in less than 100 days. He did that. Biden didn't shut down the ports. This guy did that. When you didn't have Volvo laying off folks and UPS laying off folks and
FedEx and DHL and all these other people are about to follow suit. I'm telling you, June is going to follow suit, and we're going to see whether or not he want to get rid of the whole Veterans Administration. That's 85,000 jobs that he promised to do, and we haven't heard really much from it or about it. So we have to see what's up with that. So.
Right.
Yeah, UPS, the union, even though Kamala Harris gave this deciding vote to help out unions, we don't care. We still gonna vote for him. So,
right, it's interesting that you see Sean Fain and some of those union folks getting behind MAGA. It was really it was really
union MAGA. Wow.
Yeah, it was really Democrats who were really holding the line, for blue collar jobs as well as the unions, and for that matter. So I don't know how we got to this point where folks thought that they were going to get something good out of what Trump had to offer. I mean, all you just have to do is examine the first 100 days in executive orders between the Biden administration and this administration today. and you can see there's a stark difference. But people are trying to make it seem as if, oh, well, Biden was just wrecking the economy. Really, was he? Why don't you show the data? Show the data.
Oh, eggs and gas, everything was up, but then we can deal with some pain right now. You didn't want to deal with pain here before November. You didn't want to deal with no pain.
No. I mean, none of this was about really the economy. They tried to run that, but really, when we really look at what this whole thing was about,
they're really lying about the economy.
Yeah. They lied about it. The real deal was get these Negroes and get these immigrants and all that, slap down, the left, because there's a little bit too much success going on here. And we, as a lot of angry white males and others who were very upset about some of this progress that we.
Oh, the gun must have blanked out or something. See if he keeps going. All right. So, and here's another thing that needs to be brought up here. These black culture warriors who trying to act like they're right, super duper, dyed in the wool, right wing ideologues all of a sudden. How you see these people who are happy things are happening to immigrants in this country. People who are happy about people not going through the proper channels to get justice within this country. And black people just skipped over the fact that the same people was doing the same thing to them throughout history, and now they want to pretend like they're on the other side all of a sudden. It is wholly disgusting. I don't think these people are allies. I don't think they have anything to offer. I don't think that they're over there even trying to negotiate for anything over there on the right wing. I just think that they're over there just to be pushing the culture war nonsense. You got people who try to make the LGBT community issue bigger than what it is. You have people who be like, oh well, why you so worried about the immigrants and all that? I'm like, listen, if you're gonna be part of a coalition, you're gonna have to give the level of protection that you expect from other people. I am sorry. That is how that works. If you want to put a certain type of protection for yourself and no one else, they have a party for you. It is called being that type of conservative who don't care. Okay. These people are not a part of the process. They don't even understand anything of what's actually going on over there. They're just trying to pretend to be over there just so that way they don't have to put in any type of real work. While pretending like their work is over with now that these other people are in charge while they don't ask for anything. It's crazy.
No, we're not gonna ask for that until 2026 or 2028. Right
Yeah.
now, it's on ice.
And that's what right now is just tangibles and all this other all this other stuff. Or rather, you sit home and say that you're not going to participate in the process.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I like I put in the comment. Is Tyreek Nasheed and Phil Levi Scott? Are they gonna help? Are they gonna donate to your elderly FBA that's in nursing homes that's possibly gonna get kicked out or getting help? I don't
No,
think so.
probably not.
Well, as I said before, this is not about anything about any of that. These guys are really, like I said, the white males and all them. They're upset about what was going on here culturally, and they ran on the culture war. That's what won it. The culture war and their messaging, as far as all that was concerned, the misinformation, that worked. Now you got to eat what's really going on here. The reality here is now you have to eat what's really going on, and that's where where this is going to be kind of tough to swallow. So that's where a lot of people. That's where the rubber's going to meet where the rubber is going to meet the road here. We all know none of this was about that. All these black conservatives who are useless. They have no value in this debate. They have no value. There's nothing they can help out with. They're insignificant. We have to look at all those red state folks and all those that large number of so-called white reactors, white to this. how are they going to deal with that as well? How are they going to match up and deal with some of this? And that's really what we're gonna deal with here. But
Listen, man. So when I see stupid shit like what is actually on the screen here, you don't understand that it's a fucking coalition. They're not replacing black people with migrants. They're just extending the actual franchise of equal protection to the lowest people in society. And that used to be black people too. They're not replacing us with fucking these people. Where the fuck do you get this from?
they got that from the right wing
Tariq
blogosphere and
Nasheed,
talk,
and it's like, how are
that's what they got.
okay? How are we being replaced? How are we being
That's what they
replaced?
got.
Like, please help me understand. How are we being replaced?
No critical thought is being applied to what this individual is saying.
Yeah,
He
it's
is
like
he just going on platitudes. There is no
No
actual
critical thought.
numerical or anything back. There's nothing backing this up besides
man, look,
just that culture war stuff, and that's what he is. That's what these people are. But we're going to have to put out not only just good information, but people are going to have to look at really what's going on the ground, and that's what's important. I'm not even getting caught up into these people on YouTube talking crazy. That's not what's happening. It's really happening. It's really happening on the ground. Like I say, people go to some of these congressional or you go to these town halls. Like I was at a couple of weeks ago, and you start to see and hear what's really going on the ground, what's affecting people, and that's where we got to meet this. Okay, guys like this, he's done. That dude is toast. Forget about him. Whoever this joker is, all right. He don't have a clue as to what's going on. You got to see what's going on.
Here's another thing about these migrants, right? Like these farmers can't run their for-profit enterprises without these migrants. If they obviously could, they obviously would. So they're over here to work for right-wing people.
Thank you.
Kid
That's
Rock.
what they're over here for.
I just saw something crazy on this Kid Rock dude. He's out there. His restaurant's having all kind of problems now because he's got all the migrant workers that were in his restaurant had to go. ICE came in and cleaned them out. So he's all upset because he can't run his business.
Downtown Nashville.
Yeah. He's all upset because he can't run his business. So now people are looking at what's really going on. These migrant workers are the ones who are backing you up in the agricultural service, restaurant field, all that. They play a big role there because you don't have enough of us blacks or others who are there to really fill those roles. They come in and fill that in, and then folks want to sit here and say they're taking your jobs away. It's the craziest thing that you ever heard. None of this stuff adds up to, like I said, when you see a guy like this talking, none of that adds up to none of that. It's nonsense. None of it adds up. It just doesn't add up. That's why you don't want to. So
our rebellion. Why the fuck would we pause the conversation to give you a fucking update on what the Democratic Party have done when your stupid ass have fucking Chat GPT? It has a fucking voice function on it. You can hit the voice function and you can ask a fucking question. It's not my job to be your fucking history professor. Okay? Have you turned around and asked the Republican Party what the fuck have they done for black people?
He's asking for tangibles.
Since 1850? He's asked what the conservative movement have done for black people since 1850. Go.
Exactly.
Take your ass up to the nearest fucking southerner and ask what the actual conservative movement has done since 1850. Hey man, listen, Democrats out there, when a black person like this asks a question like that, you remove their ass from the fucking room. And it's harsh and it's brutal and as violently as fucking possible. Get their ass the fuck out of there. Don't
rebellion.
even bother fucking dealing with people this fucking stupid.
Rebellion.
At the end of the day, if you wanted to know the answer to that, you can look that shit up. There is no pause in the conversation to bring your ass up to speed on the motherfucking thing. Man, fuck that. We got to start over because you wasn't paying attention, bro. Oh man, fuck out of here.
And he's asking for tangibles. He's asking for tangibles because he wants everything to come through the Democratic. Everything you got came through there. The Republicans have given you nothing. Their game ever since. Hold on a second. Their game ever since the the Southern strategy, however they went and turned that whole thing around, was to make sure you got nothing. What's come through your Republican Party? What's come through What's come through that side? Where is the legislation that backs anything up that you're saying that you want? What are you even asking for? What do you want? What are you even asking for? You probably don't vote. You're probably not involved in anything that's going on. You're sitting there listening to Tariq Nasheed and these fools. What tangibles are you even looking for? What are you even looking for? Can you even express what you're even looking for?
Nigga, he's going to answer our question. On rebellion, where do you live? No one else say nothing in the chat. On rebellion, where do you live? Nah, man, he just here on some troll shit, man. Fuck this dude. At the end of the day, man, these non-political people are here to step into political conversations to disrupt them. When a black person comes up to a conversation trying to start the conversation over, you just have to remove them from the fucking conversation. Or else ask them where they fucking live at. Because I can guarantee you he lives in a liberal area. Because if he lived in a conservative area, he doesn't ask conservatives these questions.
Ask him first of all, the key question is ask him what he's even looking for.
He's gone, man. He's gone. All right, man.
No. I'm just saying he came back with, what are you guys mad for? What have the Democrats done for us? What the Democrats done for you? Everything you've gotten has come through them. Now, find out everything you've gotten. Everything you've gotten has come through them. Now,
yeah, of course.
Where are the bills? Where the legislation that has benefited your folks? Where are they? What are you specifically looking for currently right now? Let's take a look. What are you looking for? Let's ask, what are you looking for? Reparations. Where are you on the reparations vote? Where are you involved in the system that's pushing reparations? Where's all of this? We saw what happened, how you guys sat out and didn't do anything. So forget about the reparations. You didn't participate. What are you specifically looking for? I want to hear that from these people. You'll never get an answer from them. You'll never accept the Democrats have done this.
What they do is they just fly by the conversation, insert all their bullshit in here, try to derail the conversation, and that's it. You do that shit in Denver, we rush your ass to the outside. We placed a gentle foot patrol on you, and we find out where you live and get you the fuck up out of here. At the end of the day, if you're not part of the process, you're not just gonna be walking in here windmilling and fucking disrupting progress because you ain't being focused on. And you want to hold the rest of the collective of all black participation hostage. Because you don't understand what the fuck's going on. I'm sorry. If you're too stupid to fucking know what the history is, why the fuck would I repeat it to you? Why would I repeat it to you? It doesn't make any sense. Remember, you're the one who don't know. That means you should be the one doing the most research and finding the fuck out. Not us pausing the conversation and bringing your ass up to speed. Nah, man, we don't do shit like that.
But they can't answer you. They can't answer basic fundamental questions.
Of course not.
They don't have anything to add to it except what have the Dems done for you? What have they done for you? Everything you got underneath them. Everything you have. Well, they haven't done anything for us in the last 6 years. Where have you been with respect to history? Where have you been with respect to the current legislation?
They just want to.
Where have you been?
What they want to do is they want to pause the conversation to catch them up. And I'm telling you, that's what you do. You ask them where they live at. If they live in the liberal area, thank you so much. You have a really nice fucking day.
That's all. That's all I hear. I'm a black conservative. I'm a black conservative.
How about this?
Hold on, check this out. I'm a black conservative. I live in the DMV. I have a government job. I'm making some pretty good money, but I'm a black conservative. Is that right? Is that so?
Rebellion. The government gave Ashley Babbitt family some reparations. Why aren't you mad at? Why aren't you mad? They giving out $5 million
They gave.
for some.
They were
Ashley
trying to give
Babbitt
her
got
$30
$5
million.
million when she broke into the Capitol and got shot.
They were, and they would try to give her $30
Ashley
million.
Babbitt got
Well,
$5 million.
Ashley,
They would.
they got reparations. The government gave it. The Trump administration government gave out reparations. Where's yours at? Armed Rebellion.
$30 million. She was trying to get 30. They gave her 5, and here she is with $5 million bucks. Where police officers were killed, some were injured. They ran up on the Capitol, and she made $5 million on that.
5
I
million.
mean, you cannot make this up. But these people are talking about the Dems. This is unreal. It's unreal. It's unreal.
It should be easy for everybody to get the reparations. I mean, since they're giving out $5 million just like that, everybody. Well, what's the problem? They didn't ask no questions. Didn't have no court. They didn't have no studies. They just gave out five. The Trump administration, DOJ, just gave out $5 million.
$5 million. Like,
just like
that's
that.
not even a case that was even up for like a debate. They just decided to give away $5 million.
Yeah, just out of that. So why are these same people that's the Democrats? Why are they not keeping that same energy?
I am telling you
For the
up
right.
front, when a person tries to get you to pretend that they was not on planet Earth for the last 200 years and they don't understand history, you have to get them the fuck out the conversation. Period. Those people are not here. They're not at, and what they're going to do, they're going to ask a question out of context. They're going to heckle you through your explanation. Then they're going to actually heckle you some more. Look, if you're not going to participate, who cares? Whatever state or locality that supports your non-interest in the actual history of the country, dude, that's a local problem. You are a local problem to your local people who allow you to sit around them with that ignorant ass shit. Okay? No one needs to bring you up to speed on shit. If you don't know, that means you don't have any interest of knowing. Me, I don't ask about cosmopolitan shit at all. I don't know anything about cosmology. Want to know why? Not interested. I don't just roll up to Neil deGrasse Tyson and just start asking them stupid ass fucking questions when I have no interest in the actual subject. But a lot of these people go through their whole life on this shit. And it's just crazy. What they want to do is they want to stop everybody else from participating in the actual process itself.
That's their whole game. Stop the process.
Yeah.
Talk smack. Talk against the Dems. Talk against whomever. Fine. We're not saying what party you have to be a part of, but where are you participating in this to help to improve the situation for us? None. I'm gonna sit out.
And why is it only the Democrats who got to answer these fucking questions? I have never heard nobody ask the conservative movement, what have they done for black people since the 1800s? I've never heard that.
And where is your legislation?
I've never heard it.
And if 90% of and if we got 90% of black people that are involved in it, it's because we've put a lot into the party and gotten a lot out of it. Where are you?
I'm still waiting on Marcel Dixon to run up on Lindsey Graham or either Marjorie Taylor Greene like he did Raphael Warnock. I'm still waiting.
They're expecting everybody to do everything for you, but don't want to have you participate. Everything for you, healthcare, everything else that you've gotten have come through us. Democrats.
But don't worry about the armed rebellion. We'll us ones that participate, we'll carry the load for you like we always have.
Yeah, man. Just shut the fuck up and sit in the back while we do all.
We'll carry the load. Yeah, we'll carry the
You know,
load.
Seriously.
You gonna benefit. You gonna benefit off me driving the truck and taking time off just to go to a city council
Yeah, man.
meeting.
Like
Just
we
cause.
don't need to bring you up to speed. Just shut the fuck up. You're not doing anything anyway.
and you ask them, what are you looking for? What are you asking for? Okay, and where are you working? And where are you working for that? What
And you
local
know what the
community
answer
base?
is?
Nothing. Zero.
You know what the
Zilch.
answer is that they want? More liberal shit. Just
Oh,
fucking concentrate on that.
it's all
More.
liberal stuff. They want
Throw away
more liberal,
all
more.
coalitions and shit and just do things for black people only, damn it. Black people are participating somewhere, so we should get all the benefits. Like, motherfucker, don't you understand we only 13% of the population? Why the fuck would 100% of the party be about us? Why would it?
Exactly correct.
Dude, it's
But
not even about 100% about rural America. And them motherfuckers make up the majority of the fucking vote. And this shit ain't focused on them. So how on earth do you think that? I'm just saying, you have to train black people how to treat black people who are deliberately politically ignorant. There is no fucking room for that.
No.
Yeah.
MOT. It's a part of this whole ADOS, FBA. That's what brought a lot of this ignorance to the forefront.
yeah,
Um,
and that's exactly correct. And
because
it's division, and it's divisive. It's a divider.
because
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of these people attack. That's where you heard this no tangibles, no vote, and people telling people not to vote on the federal
Only for
level.
the Democrats. Only for the Democrats.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then turning around and now some of these people are now upset that these cuts are going to be hitting people, and Social Security, these things are at risk. I'm like, what did you expect? You were literally running around telling people not to vote at the federal level, downplaying the power of the presidency, people losing their jobs, and now all of a sudden it's, well,
Yeah, but how do you
we
have a
got to.
movement that is divisive and non-participatory, but you expect shit at the end? Like, I don't understand that.
Because you have,
I
here's
don't
the thing.
understand it.
You have a lot of people who, for whatever their thing is, they are more interested in hurting Democrats than they are in actually dedicated to a cause. You saw that
Correct.
with the Gaza movement.
Yep.
You've seen that with some of these people on the left, and you've seen that with this whole ADOS crowd. They're
Yeah.
way more interested in making Democrats lose than building any sort of serious movement.
No. In fact, I'm starting to look at the FBA more like federal black agents, because at the end of the day, I believe these people are more agents than anything else. They are here to make sure that things.
I always look at
Hold
FBA as
on.
failed
They
black
are here to
Americans.
make sure that things don't move forward. They're here to make sure things don't move forward. That it's divisive. You cannot get out here and literally maximize on your vote, on your power, and that is to be dissipated and let these other ones take it. Sun Tzu, the Art of War, said, when my enemy concentrates, but I divide, he's got advantage. So you don't want these people to concentrate on you, and you're going to be more divided. How are you going to win anything from there? And how are you going to get anything at all? How are you going to get anything at all? One of the big moves of why these people are moving against you is because they feel like you've been too successful. That's a big part of what they're responding to you on. That you have gained too much underneath them, and they don't want to see that. That's a big part of what this is about. Big part of that. So, and these people don't seem to understand that. But now they want to sit here and go with the conservatives who are here to move and literally dress down your successes and movement.
Leave their ass over there. Look. If they don't want to look shit up, then they already is as far as they need to be already. The only thing you got to do is just remove them from the fucking conversation. Like, that shit happens. Like, when I'm home and one of these non-participating interlopers try to enter the conversation, I'm like, hold on a second. Did you actually participate? No? All right, man. You have a really nice fucking day. Bye. And just kick him the fuck out the conversation and move that shit on somewhere else. Wacky World of O, you are 100% true. He does do
Wacky,
that.
dead on the money. Dead on the money right there. You've seen it clear. You've seen it clear as hell. Because these are the facts. I mean, that guy at this stage, I have to look at him almost like he's he's working against his own.
No. He does run Republican interference. Like that's what they do. They run
Yeah.
conservative interference. They run a disinterest and a disinformation campaign and a disinterest in politics to keep this shit going. And this is why I don't like no fucking entertainer talking about fucking politics.
No,
None of
this
you.
is
All
I
these
don't waste
people
time
live
listening.
in super liberal fucking areas, rich as fuck, based off off of weaponizing and monetizing their collective apathy and the deliberate misunderstanding of political education by black people. Like, dude, no one would stand for this shit in any other country. No one would
yeah.
stand for that shit.
On rebellion, I would if you still there, I wouldn't believe it till I see it because I drive a truck. Since ICE cracking on all these immigrants, black unemployment should be at zero because there's
Yeah,
plenty of jobs out here. What's the
it
problem?
is.
What's the
No.
problem with black?
And they're trying to lie. See, that's good. They're trying to lie about it. I heard this guy, who's this, Dennis Brown or whatever. Yeah, black male employment is going up since immigrants have left. Show me the numbers. Where the numbers on this, bro? Where the numbers on this? I mean, these people are crazy. They're out here talking madness as to what, because the black immigrants are not. I mean, these immigrants are not taking black jobs. They're not taking your jobs, your black job. They're not taking your jobs. If you know where you're mostly employed, they're not taking your jobs. All right, and you have to have I-9 certifications and all that to go to work. You have to be a citizen and everything else like this. They're not taking your jobs. All of that is just out there. I'm in the recruitment business. I get the numbers. I know what's going on. And when I get arguments with these people, they get mad when you start dropping the numbers on them. They get mad when you drop the numbers on them because they want to tell lies and expect you to listen to it. And sorry, that doesn't get over. The numbers are not there to support what you're talking about.
On rebellion, I see it a dime a dozen. They have the government funded have these workshops for job training and stuff. I don't see a bunch of black people lined up there, but I don't see hardly nobody there, but immigrants. Why?
Listen,
How do they
man.
know about it?
Most of these dudes just don't want their artificial bottom where they ain't got to fucking try. Actually, upset. They don't want to see these people here. It ain't nothing else other than these people here getting money. That's the problem. They're here working. No, what you doing working? You're supposed to be sitting here chilling out on somebody else's couch like me, looking for submission. What you doing going out here, getting a job and doing things on your own? You messing up my artificial bottom. That's what these dumb ass people are thinking. These people are out here trying and they're shaming and humiliating the people who don't want to put in no work. I'd rather stand with these fucking migrants than these fucking people. In a fucking heartbeat. I'd rather stand with the LGBT and the fucking women and all that shit from a bunch of shiftless, dumbass, sit around, do nothing ass fucking dudes. Fuck that. You're not part of my group, man. My group is a group of participators in society, people who got their shit together in society. I don't have time to be trying to scapegoat no LGBT and no motherfucking immigrant so that way so that way these dumbass motherfuckers can sit around and not do shit. Man, fuck that. No way I'm gonna side with those people. No way in the hell I'm doing that. No.
Old buddy from other week, and old girl from the other week. They were so stuck on the trans issue. Trans
Man,
ain't doing
not a real issue. Not a real
trans
issue.
ain't doing a hit job on the education system right now. That's gonna affect black people.
Look,
It's not. It's not the
in that
trans.
big beautiful bill, was there anything about transgender in that big beautiful bill that anybody has brought up? No. I'm
MOT,
telling you, that shit don't matter.
MOT, who's that incredible clown you had on a couple of weeks ago who was up here running his mouth like I mean just running his
Guy from California, the intellectual from California.
He wasn't no intellect. This was I call
But
him
at the
a
end of the day,
magnanimous
man, he
clown.
lived in the South. He lived in the South, so he knew what it was like to not have government services, to not have public transportation, to not have the basics of anything. Then he moved out to California and don't want to participate in the process. You live in a whole liberal fucking society. How could you be complaining about shit when you grew up in an area that had none of it?
and
I
wants to
don't
say,
get it.
and
I
then
don't get it.
wants to say that the bathroom is going to be the biggest issue out here. I mean, it's unreal. Bathroom issues.
Yeah, but
This is what these people
Wacky
talk.
World of like, but these are lizard brain dumb motherfucker issues though. Like they just out themselves as dumb motherfuckers whenever they come up and start talking about these dumb motherfucker issues, man.
But they,
Like they're so far behind, they can clearly just shut the fuck up and not participate, and things will be fixed anyway. But they have to make it look like they're actually involved in the fucking process, and that's something that I got a fucking problem with. I stay having a problem.
that person wasn't involved in the process
Having a
because
problem with stupid motherfuckers like that.
well,
I stay having a problem.
MOT. That person wasn't even involved in the process because they hadn't voted since 2018 anyway. So these people who are not involved in the process, but yet they're trying to stop others from getting involved and speaking about the process when they're not involved in it.
No.
So
Like
it's
what they want to
that's the
do
crazy.
is they actually want to monopolize every other black person's participation in the actual process because they're too apathetic to actually pick a side and participate. So everybody else should also not participate too. And I'm telling you, you need to get the fuck away from people like that because their problems don't start and don't end with not participating in simplistic processes in an actual democracy. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be here in a fucking democracy and live like an undocumented fucking immigrant. Fuck that. I'm gonna organize with people who are actually winning out here, and I'm gonna organize and do other shit out here. My state works fine. I do not want to live in some of these states that house some of these people who do not participate in the process. You make shit hard for everybody else. And then you're not even productive on top of that shit. No, I don't want to be around these people. Fuck no. I'd rather team up with other people who are actually doing shit.
Well, I'm just gonna say all the stuff that we talked about. People got mad at us. Oh, you guys, look at what's coming down the pike right now.
Oh yeah.
Look
Oh
at
yeah.
what's coming down the pike.
Mhm.
And we have been dead on top of this. And here it's coming down. Where's your benefit if you're not involved in this process? But yet here they are with this budget. We get right back to that again. They strip this thing down. Your health care, all the stuff is going to get lit up, and they're going to give this tax cuts to the super rich, of which you're not a part of. You're not in that cohort of people that are going to get
the
these
top
massive tax.
1 to 2%, they got some tangibles.
No, the
Think
top
about
1%. But most of these other people who were sitting here talking this stuff are not a part of that cohort.
okay, but here's another thing that I don't get. We're still worried about migrants, but then nobody say anything about this fucking Afrikaners fucking being put over here and given
Oh
SNAP
no.
benefits and the red carpet being rolled out for them. Like, ain't nobody complain about that shit though. Ain't nobody complain about that.
Where's the FBA folks and all, where's your
Yeah.
FBA and all these
Where
and
are
all
the
these other
failed black Americans complaining about that? And what actual political
where are
party
these
that you're gonna
clowns?
go
Where
to
are these
complain
clowns?
about that? Because the Republican Party's doing that. Right after
Where
it
did you?
got to complaining about immigration, they bring immigrants on their
They
own
going
kind and do all the same shit. I'm
I
not gonna
can
lie.
it's a
It is a
nothing
masterful
burger.
troll job by Trump. I'm not gonna
Tyreek said he'll say it's a nothing burger about like Project 2025. It's a nothing burger. Okay. It's a
Yeah.
nothing burger.
Yeah,
Okay.
Schedule Web, thank for the $4 super sticker. I'm just saying, man. At the end of the day, once you get away from these quitting ass black people who don't want to be a part of the process, who don't want to do shit, because look, what they're trying to do is they're trying to get you to stop participating in society and be on the side of the road just like them. Don't do that shit. Get out here, coalition with other people, get to know your fucking neighbors, change some shit in your fucking community. Like these people can't even manage a fucking internet connection, but they won't reigns to people's $1 billion fucking corporate. Man, fuck that. At the end of the day, you got to get it where you're actually at, man. At the end of the day, you don't need to be out there being a damn fool or having these internet hustlers shit inside your head, making you look dumb as shit whenever you bring up your quote unquote talking points in other people's spaces and shit. You look dumb. This shit is so fucking easy. I mean, it can't get any easier than once every 2 fucking years. And they don't force you to participate.
But yeah, I figured they had a march on Washington if just to protest them Afrikaners from coming over here since they so depressed in their own countries and and they going through they took their farmlands and everything and they got the like you said they got the red carpet rolled out for them and
These are the people who supported fucking apartheid.
No,
Supported fucking apartheid. And we rolling the red carpet out for these type of people, man.
He's making a very political statement. He's going towards his base. This is to feed his base, and he's showing you how this is a fundamentally anti-black move. And then tried to make the South African president look ridiculous. And the South African president was like, "You gotta listen, bruh. You gotta listen to what the facts are. Can you listen to those?" And he couldn't. He didn't want to hear that. Didn't want to hear it. But playing to his base, that's red meat, and he's bringing in white folks, showing you, okay, well, I'm gonna screw these white people over here real bad, but I'm gonna play to my base to show you how much I don't like black people, and here these South Africans we're gonna bring in here to kind of highlight this.
Immigrants said that too. They trying to kick out. They bringing more immigrants in. I thought they I thought they didn't want immigrants over here.
Yeah, so it's just political grandstanding, but just listen to the message. I mean, just listen to the message. So, that's the craziness. And I'm looking at these people who've taken all these sides, and they look crazy now. You looking crazy out here, y'all. Y'all out here looking crazy. Y'all out here looking crazy out here right now. Y'all are looking crazy out here.
Yeah, they talk about for the last so many years what have Democrats done. Look, well, they started out when the Democrats had to come rescue from the Great Depression. They got Social Security started, got Medicaid, Medicare started. Got a bunch of
Inquisitive Prince, don't even do it, because this information bounce off the side of their fucking face. It don't even go in their ear. It don't even penetrate their brain. None of that shit. They're not interested in the information. Because if they wanted information, they would clearly already fucking have it.
Well, I learned that when I was in school. Who started Social Security and
great
Medicare. I mean, elementary in 5th or 6th grade.
Well,
I don't know. I mean,
well, getting back. Let's see how this budget bill goes through the Senate. Let's see how the Senate gets down on this. This is this is going to be very interesting.
It like you said, it'll bounce off. It just bounce off their head on how when the Congress appropriate money, what channels it go through, how it go through something, because they just think, oh, we just sending billions of dollars. We sent $50 billion to Ukraine. No, it don't work that simple. It goes through this channel. It goes to the military. Our military contractors that get the bulk of the money, and we ship old equipment over there and build new. I'm like, what? I don't know. I don't know. They don't know how farm aid work. No, they don't know how none of this stuff work. But they just think people just getting millions and billions of dollars and where my reparations? Well, what did the Ashley Babbitt reparations money come from? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it's gonna be interesting, this budget. I mean, I already see
who was it? Dude, they just don't have the votes in the Senate, and they're not gonna do budget reconciliation to push this shit through. They're not. Whatever the excuse is, it's just not gonna get passed. All right. And then because the conservative movement is never held responsible for any type of actions when they don't legislate at all. It's only the Democrats who have to be legislate and solve problems. The conservatives, the only thing they have to do is pass tax cuts, and everybody's happy from everywhere.
Well,
yeah, everybody's happy.
Tax cuts.
Don't nobody the theory of this small government. Nobody should pay taxes, and Okay, y'all keep. You gonna start seeing the effects, the cause and effects of not paying no taxes.
No, no, no. We have a state, my home state, my birth state, Mississippi. If you want to look at what happens when you do not invest in your actual people in the same country where other people invest in theirs, you could just compare California to Mississippi. California did tons of actual investments and shit to the point to where they bootstrap 17 other states other than paying for everything in their state. But when people try to ask dumb questions about, oh, California, nothing works there, I'm like, no, no. The South, nothing works there, actually. It ain't
I mean,
California.
it's still it's still that big hole on the sinkhole on the side of the highway every time I go to our plant in Houston, Mississippi to deliver load. And I've been in this company for 13 years, and it's been there every bit of 11 years.
Man, look,
On the
there was a
side,
street that broke on the side of our fucking house. Man, that fucking street stayed broke for 20 fucking years. And they came out there and fixed the street and soil erosion and all that kind of shit. They opened it up, and that street wasn't even open 30 minutes, and a car fell through it. That's
uh, uh,
Mississippi infrastructure for you.
our rebellion. If you can go watch some old school Dukes of Hazard TV show, them dirt
Nah, man,
roads.
don't, don't even
That's how
address that guy
Mississippi
again.
roads is.
He no,
Those
he's
how the roads is in these rural areas down south of Mississippi, Alabama. Still, and you go, I go make a delivery. The GPS sending me down here. It's pitch black. Ain't no street, ain't no lights on, but keep going. It's down here. It's down there. Yeah, lo and behold, it's down there. I ain't got a bit more. I done rode 5 miles. Ain't seen a light on the side of the road for nothing. But
but at some point, we got to grow up politically, right? Like, there's no excuse in living in an area that don't work. You need to ask yourself, why do you live in an area that doesn't work? What are you doing? Like me growing up, you didn't have a choice but to live in Mississippi. Now you can get your shit together and you can leave and go somewhere else. And if you're too stuck to where you can't, like some people are stuck, they have to take care of parents, they got some life circumstances and all that shit. Hey man, that's a temporary condition. That ain't a lifelong outlook. You can move from these areas that don't work, man. I grew up in one of the worst areas in the country. You can move from that shit if you want to move from it. There's no reason to live in these areas that don't work and then expect everybody to tell you what they're doing in their area that actually do. That doesn't make any type of sense for that, man. So with that said, you got anything else, Quiz the Prince, before we get up out of here?
now everybody just stay productive. That's what I do.
That's what I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, look, if you don't understand what's going on, you got Chat GPT, okay? You should be walking in here asking questions about historical things, and man, fuck that. You did that's why they made chatbots. So that way you ain't gotta ask a whole bunch of dumbass fucking questions. You can ask all these questions straight to that chatbot in your own time. This channel is about people who participate in the fucking process and who plan on showing up the next fight, November 2026. Okay? Your area don't work, that's a bad reflection on you. Not a bad reflection on me, not a bad reflection on the Democratic Party. It's a reflection on you. Everybody has the ability to move around now. Unless you inherited some fucked up property and you can't move and you can't sell it. I understand how that situation roll with too. You inherit some fucking property, now you gotta hold it down in the city that you don't like. But look, man, you could be out of them circumstances if you actually want to. You cannot use that as an excuse to not progress. This ain't the 1980s, it ain't the 1940s. You can actually move out of that situation. All right. This budget is going to hurt a lot of people, a lot of elderly people, a lot of disabled people, a lot of people with disabilities. And yeah, they're going to use those welfare recipients, but I'm not trying to look at myself through the morality of a welfare recipient. I'm fucking sorry, man. I don't. I'm not trying to hurt those people as much as you think, right? So everybody need to make sure that they're participating in the process and understand what's going on around them. There's no real reason to have the rights of a full ass citizen and behave like you're a fucking undocumented immigrant. That shit ain't motherfucking cool at all. So with that said, I want to thank you guys for coming through. I'm the man tomorrow. Make sure you like the video on the way out. Y'all have a nice one. Peace.